The last time a Nintendo platform had an NFL football game, current reigning league MVP and Super Bowl champion Patrick Mahomes was a 17-year-old high schooler. Hundreds of NFL players had their careers begin and end without ever appearing on a game for a Nintendo system. Even if Saber Interactive's Wildcard Football only has the NFL Players Association license, so it has the real players but no real teams or stadiums, this is an important release on Nintendo Switch, as it's the first time America's most popular sport has appeared on America's most popular gaming platform. It might not be the simulation-heavy experience that a Madden provides, but it's a fun stab at bringing football to a Nintendo system after all these years, even if it doesn't totally stick the landing. First and foremost, this is purebred arcade sports, with 7-on-7 games in lieu of football's traditional 11-on-11. Players are cartoony and impossibly bulky. Playbooks and mechanics are simplified. Quarters are only 2 minutes long. At times it feels NFL Blitz-esque, with over-the-top bomb-blasting plays and vicious tackles. The big twist is the wild card part of the game. In most games you have a deck of game-changing cards that can speed up your players, make your opponents more susceptible to drops, or do even wilder stuff like push the opposing team back 5 yards or make them lose it down. Some of them even unleash player abilities, like making the ball carrier invisible, or have them turn into a giant for a few seconds. It adds a high-key chaotic aspect to the proceedings, layering in a good dose of strategy as you and your opponent both have the cards that you can use to try to cancel out the other one's hand. With how fun the card manipulation can be at times, it's a shame the actual football it supports doesn't quite land. I enjoy the passing part of the game, as it does a good job of taking the tried-and-true controls of football games through time and distills them into a pleasant arcade form. Timing passing routes and trying to outsmart defenders is good. Unfortunately, the running game seems to boil down to a timing-based button press. Land it, and you'll bust through the crowd. Miss it, and you're more or less doomed to lose yards or barely do anything. It's especially maddening because in my experience, the CPU, even on lower difficulties, seems to nail the timing almost every time. Also, the AI for the CPU seems busted overall, making baffling decisions with regularity, ranging from not calling timeouts near the end of a half, to not going for 2 when down by 2. Beyond the gameplay, there just isn't a whole hell of a lot to do in Wildcard Football. Offline, a basic season mode with the built-in teams, collected by their real-life teams but named for their starting quarterback, is the only non-multiplayer experience. 2-player local matches are enjoyable, though at this point I can't really fully vouch for the longevity of it. The meat is found online in the Dream Squad mode, which is Wildcard Football's ultimate team mode. You unlock packs of cards to build up your custom team of NFL players, taking them to compete online against other humans or the computer. The full breadth of the online competition and microtransaction elements aren't accessible yet, but I have spent a lot of time in the tour mode, which allows you to unlock new cards by playing the CPU. This isn't a mode I would play much if it weren't for the fact that there is almost literally nothing else to do, but I'll admit it's been fun. I've had a good time. The tour mode puts you into different game variants, whether it's with or without wildcards, or even a race to a specific score total. The pressure put on Wildcard Football to be the one single NFL game on Nintendo Switch might be undue, but regardless, this opening kickoff for a potential sports franchise fades down the stretch after a promising start. Parts of the game are good, making for a decent multiplayer game, and a lacking solo experience due to limited modes, a borderline worthless running game, and janky computer-controlled opponents. If you're hard up for playing as your favorite NFL players on your favorite Nintendo platform, this is an acceptable placebo, but here's hoping Nintendo gets a high first-round pick for their next console so they can pick a more well-rounded football game.
This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.